This may come as a shock to many, but the 250 is gone. And boom, here it is. Red Sea Reefer 350. All set up in all its glory. Looking really sleek in the new spot. A lot smaller than the 250 that I had, but definitely a beautiful tank. So I'm just going to give you a tour. I know this is part of my rock video as well, and if you stayed in this long, you're going to learn about the tank, and I'm going to go pretty in depth. You know, I didn't find a ton of videos that really showed off a lot of the specifics, so I'd like to go pretty in depth with this video. Okay, so to start, this is a Red Sea Reefer 350. I bought it about 3 weeks ago from a local aquarium store near me, Aquarium Specialties and Research in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Mike. Yeah, so the top tank is around 75 gallons, just right about, give or take. And the sump underneath is another 18 or so. And we'll go over that in a little bit. It's Red Sea's ultra clear glass, which I'm so far very impressed with. I don't see any imperfections with it or anything like that. Obviously, I don't have lights on it yet, but I will be putting lights on it, obviously. But yeah, so we'll start off with the glass. We have 1/2 inch thick rimless glass, and as you can see, that seam work is very clean. I believe it's done by a machine, so you expect quality. Looks very nice. Some people complained that this back was plastic on the original ones. I think that was to cut cost. But this is definitely glass with a black paint, black powder coating, I'm not sure what it is, on the back. And it's very nice. It looks very good. I like the black background. I think it looks a little more professional. You can see my yellow tang right there. Right over there. Yeah, so I acid bath these rocks. That's why they look so white from my last build. On my last one, I was just having a lot of trouble living here at the apartment with keeping up with the water changes, and the top-offs were actually my biggest issue. Since I have to keep my water set up under my bathroom sink, it's very difficult to make enough water to fill 5 gallons or so, 3 to 4 gallons per day of loss. So it wasn't doable at the apartment, and I definitely will be doing a bigger build. I have a 450 that I'm planning to do once I move houses, but for the next year or so, maybe possibly 2 years, this will be the tank that I'm working with. As you can see, we also kept the 2 Vortex, 2 MP40s on a 75-gallon tank. It is still a 4-foot tank, so definitely still a good tank, good size. So we got the second Vortex. Both are MP40s. Both are pretty much brand new. This one's a little older. It's about 2 years old now. But the other one is practically, it's right around a year and a couple months old. So we still got a lot of life in them. I do have one coral. It's my long tentacle plate. Obviously the tentacles aren't out. There's no light. It's very unhappy, but it's doing okay. As you can see, there's still little bits of glue. Most of the rocks are actually placed precariously. There's a few that can be removed, including these top 3 right here. They can be taken out, moved around. I'm still working on the scape. Once I get my lights and kind of figure out what I like, I'll definitely do some more stuff with that. Right here on top, you can see, got a good amount of flow just from the return pump of my 2 MP40s. And I'll show you the overflow box. Oh, jeez. Dead silent. Once you get it worked in, it definitely works much better. You know, you just have to dial it in. I could see myself possibly switching to my own gate valve someday, but for now, it wasn't that bad. It's not my first tank, so I do understand how you work with the gate valves. Yeah, so I have about 160 pounds in here. Come on, focus. 160 pounds of dry rock. I am seeding and cycling around the same time. I find that the cycles don't go as long as they need to be. So I dosed a full 8-ounce bottle of Dr. Tim's to this tank, the one and only. I've had really good success with that on my 180. I did not do it on the 250, and I slightly attribute, not properly cycling the rocks on that tank, some of the issues I had. But yeah, no biggie. You get over it. Let's see, what else? My biggest complaint about this tank is the doors. As you can see, they don't line up perfectly. And I spent about 2.5 hours working on the doors. I know, much less than I should have. I mean, much more than I should have. Just very frustrating to get them to work. They're beautiful. I love that they close whisper quiet, but they were not closing perfectly, and it was very, very annoying. I would have much rather than put a black filler strip in the middle and just have the doors close and be uneven gap-wise. But, oh well. It's done now. It's finished. Here you can see the flow on the top. It looks very good. I'm very excited about how much flow I have in this tank. Okay, so they're just click to open. They're very nice doors. I think they're a form of fiberboard, but they are epoxy coated, so they're waterproof, rust proof. So you definitely get good quality stuff. I know it's going to be a little dark in here, but that's okay. I'm not too much to show off in here. So here's the sump. I believe it's around 18 gallons. Here's my ATO. I just crossed a little bit of that sticker off just to kind of hide some of the redness of it. Here's the gate valve that it comes with, and here's what I have it adjusted to. It's very, when the Red Sea logo is completely horizontal, it'll be almost closed. So that can tell you how finicky this thing is. I do have it hooked up with the return line that it came with, just hose clamped on there. I think that worked out pretty well. I definitely had no issues. Let me see if I can get a light on in here. I don't think I can. That's okay. I have my Bubble Magus Curve 7, obviously overrated for this tank, but it is working. The water height's working well. It is building up, as you can see, a decent amount of skim mate. Not as much as I'd like, but I don't have lights, and I'm not really feeding too much to my fish. So you also get this nice return chamber right here in the front. If you can see that black kind of grate. This part here is the return chamber. I'm sorry, not return chamber. That is the refugium area, which is really nice. It comes with a black acrylic, which can be taken out if you don't want to use that. But that black acrylic is really nice because, you can do that. You could even keep that as kind of a fish, not a quarantine, but hospital area if they're getting beat up or something. So definitely a cool little feature. You get one mesh sock. I think it's 100 micron. And you get one filter cup. That I have filter floss in both. You do get this gravity-fed ATO, which I'm loving so far. I'm testing it right now to see how much evaporates in a week. I only fill it up to about here, and it's about 3.5 gallons. Yeah, and here you can probably not see too well, but there are 2 return pipes here. You have 2 drain pipes. You have the main drain and emergency, which is really nice that they included the emergency. It's not something that people always prepare for, especially if you're new to the hobby. Then I have my cords here. I think I did a pretty good job. There's a little bit of a jumble of cords, but it's really not too bad. I have my 2 MP40 drivers right here, and I also have my my return pump, my Eflux Current USA 1910 gallon per hour return pump, and I have that running about 40% just to keep some noise down. Then I still have my Casa Smart Wi-Fi plug. Absolutely love this Wi-Fi plug. Works the same way as an Apex, but it's $79 on Amazon. I can do power monitoring. I can turn off things anywhere in the world as long as I have Wi-Fi. But yeah, it's really a nice setup, and I love that this little area is included. I believe it's actually for a chiller, this spot, but obviously I don't need a chiller in Pennsylvania or on a 70-gallon tank. I can't imagine how you would possibly get it to run that hot. I am running, just real quick to shoot back over here, in the back, you can probably see it a little bit, I am running a 300-watt heater. A little overrated for this tank, but that is alright because we're using some old stuff. So right now I have the salinity to 1.022. I'm just slowly raising it from filling it. I've had the fish in a couple days. They weren't doing so good in their holding tank, so I decided it's time for them to come over. And with the Dr. Tim's, I'm very confident you know, that everything's going as planned. I am going to go back on what I said in my previous video about the Radeons. I will be using two XR30 Gen 4 Radeons on this tank. I know, pretty hypocritical. I just felt that on my big tank, they didn't give the spread that I wanted for the price. You know, I got 4 Ocean Revives for less than one Radeon, and it was recommended at 4 Radeons on my tank. So I could have either spent, you know, over almost $3,500 or spend $600. So, you know, you just got to pick and choose your battles. But I decided this time I'm just gonna get the Radeons and kind of future-proof myself, because they've announced that the Gen 4s are compatible with the next Gen 5. When they come out, you'll be able to replace the cup. But yeah, overall, love the tank. Did have to shim it up right over on this side. You can barely see my two shims, but it did need to come up this way a tiny bit. So yeah, this has it's called like a 360 overflow or something. I don't know if you can see in there. There you go. But both sides of that overflow have teeth, so I mean, it's not impossible that it can get clogged, but it's virtually impossible. Here's the back of my tank. Nothing too crazy here. Just a cord or two. I have him taped in. Here's my clown. He's doing good. He's enjoying the new tank. So yeah, that's where I am with my tank right now. I look forward to, you know, making new videos and working on some new stuff to kind of share how this build goes. This is my third tank in a year and a half, so definitely sticking with this one for a while now. You can see it comes with that pre-built return area. It's pretty nice. So yeah, I'm excited, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll keep you up to date on how everything goes.